Torp here. This is going to be a fun one, let me tell you. I don't know about you guys, but I'm about fed up to my fucking panties with this shit. And I do mean my bloomers. I do mean my briefs. I do mean my thongs. I do mean whatever the fuck it is that makes me feel good and comfortable on the inside and outside. Do you know where this is going? This shit that's going on with the gay community, the pride community, the shit that's been thrown down our throats so that we can't swallow. We're suffocating on our own fucking politics, our own fucking ideas. We're literally swallowing on that shit. You know what happens when you swallow and you choke on it? You throw it back out, don't you? When was the last time you seen somebody get the Heimlich maneuver? And once somebody releases that garbage up from underneath their diaphragm, what happens? They eat it again? No, they throw it away. That's what we're doing with what the media is doing with Bud Light, Target, Ford. Who have I forgotten? It's gotten bad. Have y'all been watching this shit on TikTok? TikTok is most of it. Now it's showing up on YouTube, which surprises me because YouTube doesn't exactly have the reputation for the freedom of speech these days now, does it? Unless it's what they say freedom is. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm sure Google is full of the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and absolutely loves Donald Trump. There's no way they like Biden. Biden would never stifle speech or tell you what to fucking do, would he? He would never tell you that you need to be more flexible, you know, with LGBTQ. And I know I screwed that up and I don't care. I'm allowed to screw that up. I don't even know what it really means. It's a lot of damn words for one little particular thing. And what that particular thing is actually none of our fucking business. You know, I wasn't raised in the 60s, but I remember the 60s, especially the smell of it. There was a lot of pot in the air and a lot of laughter. Okay, 70s, pretty much the same thing, only I believe the music got better. That's what I remember. I like Nazareth and Boston. Oh, Toto too. AC/DC. I grew up in those times, and in those times, I remember seeing strange things that didn't bother me. I would see men with what looked like makeup on. I would see men wearing a lot of pink. I didn't care. We didn't make fun of them. We didn't know. They weren't bugging us. They never once bothered us. Nobody came up to us and hit on us. Nobody had any issues. I don't know if you guys remember Woodstock, but it was peace and love. Did anybody remember peace and love, Fred? We used to make bumper stickers about that. Now we got shit like a little guy pissing on a Ford car with a Chevy shirt on. It's no wonder why there's so much hate. Because back then we didn't have hate. We had tolerance of the things that we didn't understand. Racism really didn't exist. And before you get your panties in a bunch, it didn't exist like it does today. We were more tolerant back then because we knew at the end of the day, we were as fucked up in people's eyes as they were in ours for being different. We did not give a fuck. We didn't. I was like 8 years old and I was allowed to hang out with my sisters at their parties. These were grown-ups to me, 15 to 20 years old. Those were full grown-ups to me. They didn't fucking fight. They didn't argue. They didn't do any of that shit. It was a party. Everybody was chilling, listening to tunes, and drinking a fucking beer. Yes, back then, drinking a fucking beer, even in public for a 16-year-old was like, oh, who gives a fuck? And now you got fucking heroin on the street and everybody's like, oh, there's a crackhead. They laugh at it. No. We went from beer to crack? We went from all right, let me get back to what I was saying. This intolerance thing has been made up by the media. You guys know that, right? And where it plays into my mindset is, we got the same problem. The media's fucked up everything that we know, believe, and loved in for almost our whole lives since before 2016, if you feel me. Well, what happened? We got really mad at each other. We got angry with one another. We don't agree on shit. You got to take a side. There's no middle anymore. At least with religion, you used to have, you either believe in God or you don't, or you're an atheist, or some shit like that, whatever it was. And now it's the same thing with this. You're either straight or you're gay. I said, Dude, the worst thing I fucking grew up with was bisexual. A person just, like would dabble in the same sex, but mostly like the opposite sex. I was like, that's just kinky. It's just kind of kinky. I don't know about you. And then you'd heard the jokes about college students. It's like, yeah, I dabbled in it once, and it really wasn't for me. Or it's like, I dabbled in it once. I don't know if I'd ever do it again. Or I dabbled in it once, and it's like, hell no, for the second time, I'm never drinking again. That's what pot does to you. You're going to want... Oh, no. That was a simpler time. We experimented with things. We listened to new ideas. You know why? Because they weren't forced down our throats. We weren't told that this is the new society. We weren't told if you do not comply, then you're an outcast and you should be damned. We didn't have that problem. None of us did. I swore to you a long time ago that I wore a dress as a community whore. I did that as a joke because I said I got passed around the community. I was one of the most hated people here, so I said I might as well be the community whore because everybody's fucking me. Do you realize that's the closest I've ever come to making fun of anything related remotely to this? You know why? Because I don't care who's buggering who. If it doesn't affect me, I don't care who they're buggering. Do I want to see two men kiss? No. Not really. No. It's fine, but not, I don't want to. I'd rather watch the Animal Channel or maybe a Hot Rod show or something that I haven't seen. But oh my God, where have we gotten to now? If you don't watch a banking commercial or a car commercial or a mortgage commercial or a credit card commercial where two guys are laying back with each other almost in a fucking hot tub or a savory bathtub with bubbles and they're just obviously in love, I'm like, so what are you saying? That if I'm not gay, I'm not getting the loan? Or is that your bank is promoting the fact that they want gay people to be out there expressing themselves and that they're proud to be a sponsor of gayness? So what are you, not proud of straight people? I'm having trouble wrapping my brain around that. Who is it exactly that we're supposed to take sides with here? Because if we take sides with the LGBTQ, if I got it right, that'd be the first time. Gay people, queer people. If you take a side with them, then the other side ain't gonna like you. Even though you're straight. You say, yeah, but it's just like here on YouTube in these communities, especially this gay community. This gay community, the same thing. If you do not like the idea, if you do not approve of the idea that I'm a top dasher, which means I'm doing everything right, and it doesn't even matter what market you're in, because this is how you can do it. And then you get hateful about it. You make videos telling somebody else they're stupid. Or they don't know what they're doing, or they're a newbie. Or you should have known that. You need to take this and this, that, and the other. You should be blah, blah, blah. What's the difference? Somebody's throwing it down your throat and telling you on a daily basis, I'm doing it right, you're doing it wrong. Wait a minute, before I got here, I never had these problems. I was just doing it, and I was being left alone. Nobody cared. Now all of a sudden everybody cares. Is Torp a top dasher? What's the DoorDash Revolution's acceptance rate? Mr. Flex, how did you really get on the large order program, you cheater? Roy, you don't even dash. You're just a silly little W-2 worker that doesn't know anything about how the world works. That's the community that I left on purpose because it got stupid. You guys let that happen by pushing all of your ideas down everybody's throat and expecting everybody to take a side. Point being is the lounge. That's a side. Not being in the lounge. That's the other side. Are you gay? Are you queer? Are you LGBTQ? Are you a supporter? Or are you just straight? Do a 9-to-5 job, have a white picket fence, 2.5 kids, and a dog that's 6 years old that all the neighbors love and adore. That's a side, people. That's a side. Because I guarantee the guy with the dog Don't want anybody around him that's LGBTQ. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not traditional in today's society. And our government's trying to say, no, it is traditional. You just haven't jumped on the bandwagon. You need to get correct. You need to reset your mind. You're the one that's wrong. That's why we don't like it. Because we are being told what to think. We just got done with that with the pandemic. They shoved masks, vaccines, shut businesses down, told us to sit 6 feet apart. We couldn't even use water fountains. That's the same people that are telling you LGBTQI, oh God, I'll never get that right, queers, gays, straight people. Pick a side. There's no fucking unity, Biden. Mr. Biden, there's no unity. Where's the unity that you got voted into office for promoting? Unity means all of us are different, but we all get along and respect one another, at least enough to tolerate peacefully. Why the argument has to exist? Because you people, and me to a lesser extent, will listen to every single word that you hear from the media, from your politicians, and from people that got a lot of views on a video that have absolutely nothing to fucking do with you. I know they sure fucking got nothing to do with me. It wasn't like I was born 5 years ago. I seen this shit my whole life. It never bothered me until this administration came in and said, we're going to get a new secretary that's transgender. And if anybody says anything negative, they're fired. Do y'all remember when he did that? Do y'all remember when he did that? Look it up on Google. Go fuck yourself. Go look it up on Google. I don't hear it in the comments. I know what I saw. It's that dude that dresses like a woman, and he's the health secretary, assistant secretary of the health department, something of that nature. You know who I'm talking about. Quit being stupid. So my point, last one. This is the animosity. You can't blame nobody but yourself because you know where it comes from. So why you add to it, you're actually the problem. And if you believe a word that they say, that proves my point. People that argue about this are making it worse. And they're laughing at all of us. Drive-by media, politicians, and every single gig tube worker that believes they got the only way to do the job that's correct. And it's somebody else that's not doing it right. It's their fault. It's got nothing to do with their market. It's got nothing to do with the algorithm. You bunch of tech-savvy shitheads. Anybody in fucking real Linda would understand that fact. You know as well as I do, a guy down the street, a block from me, would have absolutely different experience in my market with the same AR, the same completion rate, and the same customer ratings. Why? Because it's a fucking algorithm. It's not a person. There's nobody sitting behind a desk. There's nobody programming anything. It's already been programmed. We're just living by that fucking squid octopus of a bunch of fucking numbers flying around in cyberspace and hoping it throws us a fucking bone once in a while. And some of us get a lot of bones, some of us get no bones. Depends on the day. Depends on the customer. Customer orders it, you might get lucky and get the order. Customer doesn't order, you're going to be sitting out there thinking you did something wrong, or maybe one of these channels that you watch that told you that your acceptance rate's too low. That's why. They get in your fucking head. They live in your head rent-free when they do that shit, because as soon as you go out and have a shitty day, you think they're right. You know damn good and well, it's all luck. All of it. It's all luck. And I'll prove it. A customer has to order for you to have an order to deliver. Did he tip 20? Did he tip 0? Algorithm doesn't give a fuck because they don't know if it's coming. When it hits, it hits. Just like with this. When it hits, it hits. And this shit has hit. It's very simple. Leave these people alone. You're just pissing them off. That's all you're doing is pissing them off. They came up and talked to the Congress just yesterday. One of them did. You gotta find that on TikTok. It's amazing. She blew her nut. He blew her nut. Whatever it was, he blew. Screamed. Made the solidest point. They want to be left alone. They just want to live their lives. They ain't trying to impress anybody. They don't need acceptance. When you're right, you don't need acceptance. When you're right, you don't need acceptance. tolerance when you're right. It only applies to you if it's in your head, by the way. You don't need somebody to tell you that you're right. Torp out.